It's the morning after the day before of just my thoughts on, I suppose, the post that I put out yesterday on Nike, Tiffany, and how that could kind of transpire to be a physical activation. The reaction has been incredible, I think. It's also opened up a number of discussions that I thought would be really interested to kind of have on this platform around AI, I suppose, and technology in general in the formulation of ideas and the design process. So I thought I'd just put out there really kind of my thinking behind the concept, the idea, the reasoning, and probably why I find, for me, the kind of benefits of AI technology. And I know it's totally controversial at the moment in terms of how people think of it, how traditional design and creatives think of it. And I totally understand a lot of these issues and thoughts and arguments about it, about where we go with it. So I suppose in terms of the kind of way I use it and where my brain was in terms of the concept and the idea, the night before on the train home from London from being at work, I was kind of consumed by the buzz that was going on around Nike, Tiffany, the drop info, like the kind of the campaign imagery they dropped, the little teasers, and I was like, oh, this is exciting. As someone who loves brands and kind of collabs, the fact that the things that collabs can do, I was excited to kind of really get under the skin of seeing how this thing could kind of formulate into a physical space. I've no idea if Nike, Tiffany are going to do a space. That's not for me. That's for the kind of creatives and the brand gurus and the guys and girls who are super talented at those brands to formulate some really cool activation. And that's for us to wait with kind of anticipation. But I kind of woke up and in the shower thought of like, what could this look like? What could this look like as a space if the two things came together in a physical space? And for anyone who kind of knows me or worked with me would kind of vouch for the fact that my technical creative abilities are limited. So I'm never a designer. I've never said that I'm a designer. I've always shied away from having the title creative director because I have no sort of background or skill or education, shall we say, in any technical or programs. I can't design on the computer. I can't draw very well. I sketch, but it kind of looks like something a doctor would hand you as a prescription more than a kind of a nice sort of scamp drawing. And my skills on the computer are kind of limited to Canva, really, in all honesty. So I've always got frustrated that what's in my head I find really difficult to translate onto paper. And that was always done through sketches mainly, which is again really difficult to kind of get across without. I use a lot of words and noises to try and explain what I'm getting at, or things like mood boards. But the problem with mood boards is they're always someone else's work, so you're referencing something else that already exists. So you're kind of going, it looks like this, but it's not this. It might be this color, but it's not that finish, and it doesn't look like that. So you're always referencing something that is not what you're trying to achieve, but maybe is touching on a little bit. So for someone who, I love the thoughts of what brands can do and how they can bring their kind of activations to life in the physical world. And the little piece that Midjourney or AI in general does for me, and again, I think this is where the debate's really interesting. It would be really good to kind of listen and hear people's thoughts on it. It allows me to just get those thoughts out of my head and into something that is completely tangible. But again, it's so hypothetical that it's not real. And I think that's the bit where I'm sort of the bit I sort of picking up is the fact that it's that these are creating concepts that are not actual things, and I get that. That's totally like valid as a concept and as an idea and as a thought for anyone, and I get that, and that's where I think the talented, the creatives, shall we say, the design, the retail designers, the art, whoever who are incredible, are so skilled at taking those little nuggets of ideas and turning them into a tangible thing. So whatever Mid-Journey created with my input yesterday for Nike Tiffany is totally hypothetical. I know that it's not real. I know it can't be achieved. None of that stuff in there. It's all imagined. It's the imagination of my head formulated into some visuals that allows that conversation to get started. It's never the final thing. I get that it really depends on what space that you're putting it in, where the door is, where the consumer flow is, how many SKUs you need to go in there, where the mechanical and electrical is, where the till point is, how many like products need to be displayed. I get that's all of the kind of tangible pieces that need to come from the content that has been created as an initial little spark of an idea. And that's not also the only thing. It needs strategy behind it. It needs data behind it. It needs an understanding of the consumer. It also needs input from the brand as to what their kind of desires, remits, KPIs, should we say, that need to be done for that space, for that activation. But it just opens the conversation, I think. It opens the little door as to say, hey, Nike, Tiffany, or whoever you are, Sephora, if you look at an example we've done before, like, hey guys, have you thought of this? This could be something that's kind of up your street, or it's just an idea, and it's about those little nuggets of ideas. For me, that's where something like AI works. But there's a lot of feedback to say, well, anyone can type anything into Midjourney and generate content. Well, you can. Like, I'm never going to say that you can't sit on any AI platform and write anything. But that's a bit like any creative brief. Is anyone can throw anything at someone and say, oh, can you just create something for this? But it's about, it's only as good as the thought and input you put into it. Now, and what that actually refers back to at the beginning, and I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's, if you typed in, I don't know, if you type in anything, you will create something for you. But actually, it's about, for me, it's about creating something, an idea, a thought, a little snapshot, a shower thought on something that has sparked a conversation. So, for example, exactly in this instance, Tiffany, Nike, collab, I was excited. Let's just kind of spend a bit of time seeing how that could work. And I was like, oh, these look cool. I'm really interested into what this looks like, and it would be amazing if something not like that at all. It wasn't the concept as in the final finished product. It was the idea that actually this collaboration could turn into something pretty cool in a physical space, without spending hours, weeks, days on rendering and designing and building something. Because as with my creators that I talk to on a daily basis at Wild, they will also be asking those questions, right? How big is it? Where's the entrance? What am I working with? So they need those tangible things to work with to start creating these concepts. Whereas in some of these instances, and where we kind of, my brain works from a Wild Thoughts point of view, is, hey, that's just a really shit hot kind of cool idea, and that could do something.